Hello again, everyone. It's Kaz Beal, and this is Casual Conversations, where we speak to people who are very important to our world. Today, we have a very special guest. It's Chris Kelly. He is a digital publisher and lots of other things. Chris, how are you?
Doing great, Kaz. Absolutely
Where are you
great.
right now? Tell me where you are. I think people should
Well,
know that.
right now we live in Panama, Central America. We live right on the water. So I'm actually on our balcony broadcasting to you from Panama.
Wow, Panama. That's amazing. So tell me about your life a little bit. From the beginning, as much as you can remember, to where you are right where we are right now. So, but make it quick. Oh, by the
Sure.
way, folks, by the way, before we go any further, this is also an audio podcast. So if you listen to the sound, find the video version. There's a link to it, and you can see how handsome we both are. All right, because we are very nice, handsome gentlemen. So, in any case, get back to your life story, Chris. Go.
All right. Well, I can't promise my entire life story, but I could tell you some of the things that led us to business and what we're doing right now. Why are we in Central America? We actually left the United States of America back in 2018. I have about 40 years experience as a technologist. But Kaz, you know what, man, sometimes things happen that make you shift your priorities. Well, that's what happened to us, meaning me and my wife. We were running a successful business. Our business was New York, New Jersey based for the most part. And in 2018, I received a diagnosis of prostate cancer.
Mm,
Well, Kaz, when you hear those words, everything changes.
yeah.
So one of the things that we learned that cancer thrives on stress, that and eating poorly and all that sort of thing. So we basically had to make a decision. Are we going to stay in the United States stressed out or move someplace where we can address my health concerns, change the quality of our life? So we decided to move after getting the diagnosis. We moved actually to Costa Rica first. We lived there for 2 years.
Mm,
Why Costa Rica? Because Costa Rica has what's called a blue zone. 5 countries in the world has blue zones where people live the longest, and it's all in part due to low stress, clean water, close family ties,
mhm.
and the people are very active. That brought us to Costa Rica. Well, long story short, we moved next door to Panama because we realized we can get a much bigger bang for our buck. So
Mhm.
again, long story short, part of the reason why, and I always stress having a why, was to enjoy a better quality of life and to get an alternative to medical treatment because
Right,
sorry to say it, but the United States has a very specific protocol when it comes to cancer
yeah.
treatment. They like to cut or burn.
Mm,
Wasn't in the cards for us, so we decided to go someplace else where we can get what we think is medical treatment, more holistic. So that's what brought us here. And in doing, we had to change our entire business model. We had to go from a consulting business to something that creates online opportunities. So that's how we were able to change our entire lifestyle to basically travel anywhere in the world and still conduct business. So
wow.
that's
So,
just
Chris,
small.
Chris, sorry for interrupting, but I just, it's an amazing story, and you look very well right now. I
Thank
wish you
you.
the best of luck and everybody else who has to go through cancer. And, so as you were saying, you have to adjust your model because one of the things causes stress is going to work every day and doing, um, the work and then coming home and you have to deal with other issues and other things in life. So tell us about MPK, what kind of brought you to that. There's a book, I understand, that kind of started the whole process for you.
Yeah, well, it was a tandem. It's a twofold process. In 2017, when we decided to make the change, move from the United States, and we decided that consulting wasn't what we wanted to do anymore. I always like to say we decided not to keep trading time for money, meaning it was no longer adequate for us to have to consult, had to sell our time for money.
Right.
So we created the MPK, the Monetized Present Knowledge online course. And it's basically a model where we create an online course with existing knowledge. We turn existing knowledge into a revenue stream.
So
We
basically,
all
Chris, so basically, I know I have certain knowledge that I would like to share or pass on, and he probably knows other people who wants to tell them, I know all this, I can do all this, everything, and it's like sometimes you have to package that knowledge and present it to people, who can actually benefit from the knowledge, and then when you do that, you could benefit other ways, monetarily, in other ways by doing that. That's sort of the process you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a significant part of the process. The book, I'll get back to what you're talking about. The book was
Hmm.
just part of a brand development strategy. Our we could actually publish a book within 30 days without the author having to write a single word. That's another conversation for another day. But suffice it to say, we published this book that basically outlines the steps we took to create the online course part of our business. Why? Well, Kaz, from the old networking days, from your BNI days or your Latip
Yeah.
days, you go into these meetings and then you leave scratching your head wondering, who remember what I said?
Yeah.
Or who's going to refer me? Why would they refer me? Well, the book answers that question because once you become a published author, things change. People's perception of you change. So we actually created and published the book as a brand development, actually a brand exploding strategy. So the book creates the brand or accelerates the brand perception in people's mind, and the online course monetizes the information. And coming back to your question, it's basically if you have knowledge that you can impart to others that can solve a problem. We prefer real world examples, real world knowledge that solve real world problems. So if you can explain what problem you solve in a step by step way, step by step, we can create an online course that turns that into a revenue stream that works even while you sleep. And I mean that sincerely.
So, Digi Nomads, what is that reference to?
Digital Nomad is a very famous book um, that refers to anybody who can do business from anywhere. For example, our own experience in 2019, we visited 5 different continents and the business model worked seamlessly. As a
Mhm.
matter of fact, in 2 weeks, we'll be back in the United States for my mom's 85th birthday. That's
Oh,
going to be a blessing.
congratulations. Yeah, go mom.
Thank you. Right. That's going to be our first time back in the United States in over a year. And from then, we head to Africa, Tanzania.
Wow.
The business will work, and the business does work, just as if we were right there next door in New York. So, digital nomads is basically the way of using digital publishing from anywhere in the world to
Hmm.
create and maintain an online business.
No. I just, so can you go through the steps of the process? Let's say, so it's
Yeah,
a course, so you have to sign up to the course, but tell us about the process of going through the course. What's involved?
sure. It's a 3 easy step process. First, like I said, what problem can you solve? What do you know right now that can be a solution to a problem? I'll give you one example. I recently met several months ago a mom of 3 children. She actually is homeschooling her children and she travels internationally. Well, she's actually on creating her very own course now. Because, Kaz, considering what's going on, the disaster that's going on in the education system now, more and more people are deciding to homeschool their kids. Well, do you think there's a market for a mom who can teach other parents how to homeschool their kids while they travel to work, while they travel
Oh,
the world?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So right now she's in the process of creating her own online course using
Hmm.
her existing model. So that's the first step. Identify a problem. Then
Right.
you basically just create a step-by-step way of teaching. Just tell your story step by step, because every step becomes a video or an audio. And basically, that process turns into money because you connect it all to an e-commerce system, meaning the ability to collect credit cards, and you got yourself an online business that works while you sleep. And I keep saying that because it always tickles me. Our first sale came in at 1:10 a.m. this morning for the day, and we were expecting, of course, many more for today. So it works. It really works.
So how, let's say the number one step is to come up with the idea, then you have the outline, then you record everything, whether audio, video, and then you have this package. So what's the next step with that?
Well, that's the next step, is basically to make it available to as many people that fit your market as possible. The next step may be talking about it on social media, like joining Facebook groups with people who you believe are part of your target market. I mean, I never tell people to join groups to sell. You join these groups to add value. And if when people realize that you're an expert and you have a solution to their problem, well, they check you out. They
Yeah.
join your sales funnel. They buy your online program. So that would be the next step. Online word of mouth, hugely important. And by the way, if you hear a dog in the background, that's life in the tropics, right? I'm
That's
right on the
okay.
water. There's a dog in the back, and that's my life.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, and now the way, of course, is your list, your email list.
Hmm.
Create an email campaign, send it out to friends and family, ask them to refer you. That's how you build your business.
Right. So basically, it's a course. You sign up for a course. There's a you can go email Chris right there, mpktoday@gmail.com, and you will respond to them and start the process. Right. What else is there?
Well, Kaz, look, I hate to be a doom and gloom guy, but I have to be real. Considering what's going on in the economy, and this is worldwide,
Hmm.
you're seeing massive layoffs. You're seeing it at Microsoft. You're seeing it at Google's parent company, Alphabet. You're seeing it on Wall Street. You need to have a plan B.
Hmm.
You need to have something different, because your 9 to 5 may not cut it.
Hmm.
This is not the time to be sitting down thinking that you're secure. You need to develop another plan. Frankly, since throughout my 40 years of career, I haven't had many 9 to 5. I've always been entrepreneurial. Well, I think everybody has to start thinking more entrepreneurial than 9 to 5, because there's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing guaranteed at all. The other thing is, you have to know what your why is. Meaning, part of my why, like I told you, was my health. I needed to make a change for my health. Well, another part of my why is my wife and I became parents of my sister's 3 kids. She passed away 28 years ago after my nephew was born, and we adopted her kids. Well, part of my why is finding a way to make sure I can say thank you for my wife because of her dedication. She never asked for thank yous, but just my way of thanking her for her dedication to raising 3 kids that she didn't mother. That's part of my why. Leaving a lasting legacy to our grandkids. We happen to employ 2 of our kids. So those are all part of my whys, and that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps energizing me on a daily basis. I don't feel like I work. And the fact that we can travel anywhere in the world, it feels like a constant day-to-day vacation anyway.
Well, I mean, one of the things you hear is, it's one thing everybody wants to make money. So you make money, but then you found a way to put a positive spin on it because you started off as your why was to help somebody. Nothing better than you're helping somebody and you're making money and you live in a part of the world where you're very comfortable and it's nice and warm. It looks like not where I am in New Jersey, but it'll get warmer
Yes,
here one day
yes.
soon.
Good luck.
And yeah, well, it'll happen. Don't worry about it. But it's nice to have that sort of combine all those things nice way, because some people just say they want to make money and I don't care. Night and day, I just want to make money and that's it. I don't care. Money, 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 money.
No,
So this is a nice feature.
yeah, I sincerely believe if you help enough money, people will. If you help enough people, money will follow naturally. I mean, you find a way of helping people solve a problem, and I think that's how you make money. I mean, the more problems, the bigger the problem, more than likely, more the money. But
Right.
find a problem that you can solve, right? I would encourage everybody to create a digital product like we did because
Hmm.
it's knowledge that you already have. What do you need to
Yeah.
do it? You don't need a whole lot. I created our first course, and by the way, that very first course it sells for $99. It was launched in 2018, and several months ago, about 4 months ago, it eclipsed $3 million in sales. I mean, $3 million from a $99 course. I mean, that's life changing. So I would encourage anybody who knows a little something. And by the way, we call that MPK, monetizing present knowledge. Well, there's another component to it, OPK, using other people's knowledge. So if you are not confident that you know enough or you can to solve a problem in a sequential way on video or audio, find somebody that you know and trust who does. That's what we
Right.
did. The
So
first
Chris, so, so
wasn't
Chris,
ours. No, our wasn't our knowledge. Yeah.
right. I understand that. Yes. But the thing I want to get into, so you have that, you market to, some people have a very small world of where they can promote the product or showcase it or say it's available. So, you know, I'm sure you help them with that, but do you have any other help system? Like, do they need to do other advertising, spend some additional money on Google ads or Facebook ads to help? Like, do you help them with that process as well? Do you have a component for that?
Well, we have two aspects of our business model. One aspect is we have an online course that it's self-paced. You can register for it at www.monetizepresentknowledge.com.
Hmm.
You basically run through that course and it teaches you how to implement your own online business
Right.
using your existing knowledge. That's one aspect. The other aspect is a joint venture possibility. Now, this doesn't happen every day because we are very selective in how we get into into joint venture relationship because, frankly, we're not trying to overwork ourselves,
Right.
right? So when the right opportunity comes along, we basically take the person's knowledge, videotape them, they go home and they relax. We create the online business, we create the marketing opportunity, we drive customers to it, we make sales, and we do an equity split. So it's either one hand you do the self-paced model, and that's
Hmm.
at monetizepresentknowledge.com, or you reach out to us and we discuss the possibility of doing a joint venture
Right.
uh, launch.
I mean, do you have an idea how much someone might want to spend that's like start to get some results like on their own besides what they have? Do you have, what should they expect to spend some additional funds beyond the course to help them get some kind of a thing that starts traction and maybe then switch to your other plan?
Yeah, Kaz, that's it's good. It's a good question. And in the course, and by the way, the course I did the entire course by myself. The reason that was important is I wanted to prove that this can be done by one person, the person who's a subject matter expert, one camera, no fancy different angles. My
Hmm.
existing neighborhood, either my apartment here or downstairs by the pool or by the beach, your existing area, you can use that very area to create your course. What
Hmm.
else did you need? I had a camcorder. Now, Kaz, this is the very same camcorder that we used back in 2018 to create our first course. So I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the latest and greatest. As a matter of fact, you may even have the technology in your pocket right now because most of these cell phones these days, the high definition
Oh, yeah.
cameras, they're more than sufficient to capture HD content that can create a good course. So
You, Yep.
Once you have the information, which is a given, it's up here. You need a camera, a tripod, or your phone. In the course, we teach you not only how to launch the course, but we have a pre-launch strategy that actually makes money before the actual course is launched. And I walk through this during in the course. Everything that you see in the course is my example. Nothing made up, no theory. Everything was done live, and the results were captured. And you'll notice part of my pre-launch strategy, I actually made enough money to fund the business for 4 months. So imagine starting a business that has built in it 4 months of a cushion, so you can really get going in that time. The joint venture strategy is wholly different. We actually absorb the entire cost until it becomes profitable. Then we do an equity split.
No, that makes sense. It's just I'm trying to get an idea of, someone who, doesn't see themselves stepping into that second level of discussion, but wants to get their feet in the water, and like what should they think about spending extra to promote that? Because, like I have following in certain places, but some people just have their little Facebook account and 10 friends or 50 friends, and like, how do I get from there? How do I move up from that?
Yeah, well, in my example, I could only use my example, right?
Yeah.
Once building the course, since I'm going to be teaching how you make money, I decided to do it myself. So I didn't have a particularly strong Facebook presence. As a matter of fact, I didn't. I just had my friends, and I didn't use Facebook to personally market anything. So I started off from ground level, and I showed people in the course, what you say, what you do to get sales, actually to get pre-sales, because I actually generated over $3,000 in sales promising people the course. It wasn't even done yet. So my pre-launch strategy was selling something that wasn't done. All this is part of the Monetize Present Knowledge pre-launch strategy. So the goal there is make money even before the course was created. So after it's created, now it's up to you. It depends on what your objective is. I can't tell you what your ad budget needs to be. I decided to focus on Facebook marketing and Google pay-per-click, but that may not be right for you. And if you decide to, your ad budget is going to be a function of how wide and how deeply and how many people that you want to reach. So it's hard.
You can't place a number. Is there a range? Right. I mean, everything. I know it depends on the audience, which one reach, how many, and everything. But typical person who just has a job or maybe has some money saved.
Yep.
Like, what should they expect to try and put out there?
Just a little bit.
It's hard to do, right?
What, it's. I could tell you what our ad budget is, but I wouldn't put it out there because I'll tell you, to be straightforward, who you advertise to, there's such a range. For example, if you are advertising to personal injury, you're trying to find people who are in car accidents, that's very expensive to be advertising, trying to find, because you're going to be up against all the lawyers out there, the car chasers. Right. Yeah. So, or now, the lady who's doing the homeschool course, a different market, less competitive. So it's hard to put a dollar amount because the markets are so different. So I would even hazard a guess.
I know you should start small, whatever you can, and see what happens. And I think the key is also you have to know the audience you're after, because you can throw money out there, but if you don't know who is this knowledge for, and you hit the wrong target, no one's going to respond. You're like, well, how come no one's so great? But you got to hit the right people, the right words, which I think this course is so helpful in putting people on that track to knowledge and cash from the knowledge that so it's basically money sitting there that you're not taking advantage to pick it up. And a lot of people, I meet a lot of people who advanced stage of their life, and like you got to save this knowledge, record it someplace, do it something. I have a friend who's a bus driver, and he retired, and I said, I want to talk to him about all the knowledge you would need to be when you become a bus driver. It's like you got to pass the test. Okay, you pass the test, but there's real world knowledge, like how to get there, park, this, all these little cool secrets in there, how to do it, which a bus driver in one course could learn all that. He's like, oh, I don't have time. I'm like, yeah, you have the time. You could just everything you know while you know it, it's fresh. Get it down on paper, and then we can turn it into a video, audio course.
You
I
know
can
something?
try,
I'll tell you, Kaz, you touch on a profound point because down here, I come in contact with a lot of retirees.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're talking about is basically leaving a lasting legacy.
Yep.
You have these retirees, some of them are not very old, by the way. People are
Mm-hmm.
retired in their 50s,
Yeah.
60s, 70s. They have all this knowledge.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they sit on the beach or by the pool, sipping Mai Tais or whatever their favorite beverage is. And all that knowledge is basically just trapped there. So why not create an online course where you teach the younger generation a thing or two? More profoundly, though, over the years, I've been involved in two projects that really, really are near and dear to my heart. The first one was a book we published with a guy who had a heart condition.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness he published that book because you know what, Kaz? A few months after the book was published, he passed away.
Oh.
What a gift that was to be able to capture that information in a book for his child and his wife and his family to have. Another example is a woman who created the course. She lives in another country. Well, she and her husband created this course. Unfortunately, clear out of the blue, he got a cancer diagnosis, and within months, he was gone. So when I tell you this process, this ability to capture the essence of what you do professionally and to have it out there for years, for others to come, is part of leaving a lasting legacy. So even if you don't need the money, perhaps you need a better use of your time, or you're interested in helping younger people. I think this is a wonderful way of doing that.
Well, I think the good wrap up would be stop wasting away in Margaritaville and get a course and an MPK course and bottle that knowledge and leave a legacy for generations to come that'll help them in some way in their life or whatever ventures that they're on. So how would you sum it up? Key takeaways, Chris, for the MPK course, the knowledge.
Kaz, look, if you're passionate about what you do on a daily basis, if you're passionate going to your job, that's fine. If you're passionate about it, but if you're going to your job, if you're waking up dreading driving or dreading getting on a train to make some money, don't betray yourself like that. Find another way of generating an income. Life is too short. Don't trade time for money. If you're passionate about it, more power to you. We decided to implement this business model because we have a value on life, our own lives. So if I decide to do consulting, it's on a very limited basis and at a very high price point because I really do value my time.
Mm-hmm.
We created this digital product, which we encourage other people do, to recapture some of that time. Spend it with your family instead. And enjoy watching your cell phone beep every time a sale comes in. Trust me, there's no better feeling in the world. Well, there are a few others, but this is one of those feelings that's way up there when you look at your cell phone or you hear it buzz and you know it was because of an online sale. So think of what you do, find ways of monetizing what you know. You'll be blessed.
Well, thank you, Chris, for the time to teach us about the MPK course and monetizing your knowledge and leaving a legacy. You can reach out to Chris at an email right there on the screen and on the podcast. It's mpktoday@gmail.com. We also have a link to the website. Look for that. Look for everything else. And Chris, for a final, very big question. So what was it like being a guest here on Casual Conversations? Honestly, tell me.
Yeah, well, honestly, Kaz, you said it yourself. It's casual. I felt like I'm in my living room, which happens to be right there. Right?
You are.
But yeah, it's not scripted. It's from the heart, from the head, and it's a beautiful experience. I mean, I think you have a wonderful thing going here, and we got to some important information. You know, it's not fluffy.
Yeah.
I don't like to do fluffy. So I enjoyed the experience, and you made it fun.
Well, thank you very much. Enjoy your weather out there, and hopefully we will run
Will
into
do.
each other one day soon in the States here, all right?
In the summer.
Till next time.